I have a parcel and I'm excited about it. So I recently ordered a book box. On the side it says bookbox.au, but that doesn't seem right. .com.au? Anyway, I've never ordered one of these before, but it's you have to fill in like a questionnaire and like answer all these questions, and then you also link them to your Amazon wish list and your Storygraph or Goodreads, or however if you have some kind of way of tracking your reading. So they also, I believe, I might be wrong about this, guarantee that if you get a book that you already have, that they'll replace it, I think, is what I read. Anyway, I'm going to open it. I'm going to open it with you and see what's inside, because there is a surprise book in here and there is also some bookish goodies. So I will open now and I will share it with you and show you what is inside. Okay. Ooh, there's a little envelope. That's not a good way to do that. Blocking the light. Okay, so there's a little envelope inside and it says bookish, bookaholic on the back. Let's see what's inside. Ooh, goodies. There are goodies inside. Did I miss any? No. Okay, let's have a look. So first of all, some stickers. So some very cute, hopefully I'm going to put them in the light and hopefully you can see them. So some little bookish stickers that feel pretty good quality, to be honest. Like the stickers seem like they'd be a little bit like they're glossy. Cute. This one says stay home and read. It's quite small. And I've got a bookmark. Unbox, read, repeat. Very exciting. And what have I got here? Oh, cute. A little reading tracker. And a book review card, which I presume is for the book that is inside. Okay, oh, there's a curator letter for me, and my curator is called Kate. So it says, Kelly, this book offers a poetic exploration of identity and belonging, weaving together elements of historical and literary fiction. Its beautiful language and thoughtful narrative align with your appreciation for hopeful tones. The story's depth and creativity resonate with your reading preferences and genre interests. Love from your curator, Kate. Thank you, Kate. I'm excited to see what book you have selected for me. This is just like a little promotional thingamabob. Right, let's get into what's inside. Oh, pretty things. Okay, number one, a book sleeve. So excited. That's cute. Very cute. I like it. I do have book sleeves, but I always like to have more because particularly when I go on holidays, I actually take more than one book sleeve with me of varying sizes. So because I like to pack the books I'm taking with me in book sleeves in my bag so they don't get damaged. So happy to have another book sleeve for the collection. That is very exciting. Okay, I have some tea from Zoetic for the Conscious Tea Lover, organic variety pack. Ooh, what is in it? Blends include English breakfast, chai tea, Earl Grey, green tea, chamomile, peppermint, and lemongrass and ginger. Okay, some pretty like standard type of ones, but I'm always happy to have new tea. I've got a cookie from Higgins Oven Baked Goodness, chunky chopped chip. Very exciting. Shower spell. What is this? I don't know what this is. It's not shower spell. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. It's a shower. It's like a powder that you sprinkle into your shower, and it's got like nice smells. Simply sprinkle the powder at the bottom corner of your shower to experience euphoria and prepare for a peaceful night's sleep. This is the Dreamer Shower Spell by Kind Bod. Balance, calm, restore, uplift. That's nice. I've got a little pin. It says, emotionally attached to fictional characters. Accurate. An accurate pin. Okay. And I think that's the last of the goodies. And then I've just got the book. Let me just confirm that there are no other goodies inside the box. No, that is it. Okay. So now we find out what has been selected for me. Okay. Okay. It is There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak. I was straight up looking at this in the bookshop and considering buying it, and I picked something else instead, but this was like the next thing I was thinking about choosing. Ah! Wow. Okay, well done, Kate. Good selection. Okay, let me tell you about this book. This is the story of one lost poem, 2 great rivers, and 3 remarkable lives, all connected by a single drop of water. In the ruins of Nineveh, an ancient city of Mesopotamia, there lies, hidden in the sand, fragments of a long-forgotten poem, the Epic of Gilgamesh. In Victorian London, an extraordinary child is born, at the edge of the dirt-black River Thames. Arthur's only chance of escaping poverty is his brilliant memory. When his gift earns him a spot as an apprentice at a printing press, Arthur's world opens up far beyond the slums, with one book sending him across the seas, Nineveh and its Remains. In Turkey in 2014, Naren, a Yazidi girl living by the river Tigris, waits to be baptized with water brought from the holy Ladish in Iraq. The ceremony is cruelly interrupted, and soon Naren and her grandmother must journey across war-torn lands in the hope of reaching the sacred valley of their people. In London in 2018, broken-hearted Zalika, sorry, we've got a kitty visitor. Hi, are you coming to be in the video? Righto. Sorry, where was I? In London in 2018, broken-hearted Zalika, a hydrologist, moves to a houseboat on the Thames to escape the wreckage of her marriage. Zalika foresees a life drained of all love and meaning, until an unexpected connection to her homeland changes everything. A dazzling feat of storytelling from one of the greatest writers of our time, Elif Shafak's There Are Rivers in the Sky is a rich, sweeping novel that spans centuries, continents, and cultures, entwined by rivers, rains, and water drops. Water remembers. It is humans who forget. I'm so excited. That is such a good selection, especially given that this was a book I was contemplating buying myself. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit... The reason I picked something else is because of how thick this book is. How many pages is it? 481 pages. So it's a bit of a chunker, but like... I'm so excited to have this. I feel like this is something I might bring away with me on my January trip that I'm going to be taking with my family. So exciting. So that is my book box. So if you're interested and you're in Australia, I'm assuming they only ship to Australia. It just says bookbox.au. So it says all their social media is at bookbox, all one word, .au. So yeah, that's where you find them. To be honest, I found these guys via an ad on TikTok. So very, very excited. And it was, yeah, a good experience. Very good experience. Well done, Kate. Good selection. The other book that, well, I'm assuming this is a book. Another parcel arrived today, which I'm assuming is a book as well. So let me just open it up. And if it is, you will see this part of the video as well. Open. Okay, I can confirm it's a book. Is this a book that you need to see? Oh, yes, it is. Okay, awesome. Get it out of the bag. Right. There we go. Okay, this is actually a book I picked up called My Walk to Equality, Essays, Stories and Poetry, Papua New Guinean Women Write, and it's edited by Rashmii Amoah Bell. If you have been following along on my channel for a while, you might know that I take part in a book club where we read books from around the world. Now, our next country, hello, that we're going to be reading from is Papua New Guinea. Now, we did not select this book, and the main reason that we didn't select it was, even though lots of people were very excited about it, is that because we have the people in our group are like all around the world. We all chat on Discord. But although we were quite excited about this book, not everybody was able to get it at a reasonable price, and it just wasn't available in some areas. So although we were excited about this one, we couldn't select it. Papua New Guinea proved to be a really difficult country to find a book that was available for everybody in the group to be able to acquire from around the world. Anyway, this is an anthology, and it says, this anthology celebrates the contribution of women to Papua New Guinean society. It also sets out some of the problems and issues confronting these women in their daily lives. These issues are set out in an eclectic mix of poetry, essays, and short stories. The anthology also challenges the myths and stereotypes often associated with the drive to reduce inequalities in Papua New Guinea. The anthology is also an opportunity for Papua New Guineans to recognise and appreciate the women of their nation. Women are active in many fields in Papua New Guinea, occasionally in leadership roles. Papua New Guinean women are doctors and nurses, business leaders, environmental activists, and politicians. Other women in more traditional roles form the backbone of Papua New Guinean society. All of them need to be celebrated. These women are diligently working to advance their country and remedy the wrongs they encounter, even though the task often seems overwhelming. The anthology draws attention to and suggests approaches to the serious challenges Papua New Guinea must address to become the nation it wants to be and which its people expect. I'm so excited that this has arrived, and I'm glad to now have it in my collection. And if I'm able to, I will try to read this book alongside the one that we did end up selecting that was available to us as just a PDF. So yeah, this I'm super keen to read and to kind of really like get my head around Papua New Guinean women writers and just writers in general, and to sort of get a feel for what's happening in their literary scene there. So very excited. 2 exciting deliveries in one day, which is awesome. Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am recording a book haul for the month of November. Now I know November is not quite over, but I certainly have enough books to show you to make this video worth your while. So hopefully you have already seen my footage that I shared of me opening my fabulous book box that happened early on in November, and you would have seen me hauling this book from that book box. I'm so excited about this, and I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled with how spot on the selection was for me from the book box. So I think every now and again maybe I will do another book box. I'll share the details down below of where I found the book box. So if you're in Australia and you would like one as well, then I highly recommend. Very, very good. And you would have also seen me hauling this book, which is My Walk to Equality, Essays, Stories and Poetry, edited by Rashmii Amoah Bell. So excited about this one as well, and keen to get to it. Those are not the only 2 books that have come into my life in the month of November. So I'm going to start with the rest of the new books, because there aren't that many of them actually. We've only got 3, oops, sorry, I just hit my light. We only got 3 other new books to show, and then the rest are an extremely large second-hand book haul. So the first is Next of Kin by Hannah Bonam-Young. This is a romance book, which you could probably tell by the cover, that I purchased because it was on sale. But I'm quite pleased that I did, because I didn't really know anything about the author. Just the concept of the book sounded interesting to me, so I thought I'd give it a go. But subsequently, in the author bio that's on the back here, it says that the author Hannah Bonam-Young writes romances featuring a cast of diverse, disabled, marginalised and LGBTQIA plus people, which I think is awesome. So I'm pleased to have this in my collection now and ready to read when I'm in the mood for a romance. So on the back it says, when people-pleasing Chloe learns that her birth mother has unexpectedly had another baby, she doesn't hesitate to become a kinship carer. But, failing to meet social services' financial evaluation, she is faced with a choice: see her baby sister placed in foster care, or participate in a new initiative where 2 prospective guardians join households to qualify. Let me just put this out there. That's not a plausible storyline, but I'm going to look past that because the concept of it sounded interesting. Enter Warren, a surly mechanic's apprentice attempting to get custody of his deaf 15-year-old brother. From the moment Warren drives up 30 minutes late, blasting music out of his car, Chloe is convinced that this is a very bad idea. But they eventually agree to live together for the sake of their younger siblings. In fact, they're far more similar than she could have imagined. What started as forced begins to feel natural, and far less lonely. Chemistry soon intensifies beyond what either of them can stand. But is their mutual attraction worth risking everything they've fought for? So that sounds like fluff, but the kind of thing that I'm going to be in the mood for at some point. So glad to have that one in my collection now. Then to some more serious topics. This one I'm so excited about. It's called Words to Sing the World Alive, Celebrating First Nations Languages, and it's edited by Jasmin McGaughey. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I actually follow Jasmin on social media, and that's how I found out about this book, because she was mentioning how excited she was that it was being published, and I pre-ordered it straight away. So it's also The Poet's Voice is the other editor that's written down on the bottom here. And I'm excited about this because it is a compilation of short pieces by prominent Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voices in Australia, and each of them is writing about a particular word in language that has a connection for them in some way, that's important to them in some way. So I'm just really excited to read that, and because there's a lot of familiar names in this compilation as well. Tara June Winch being one, Kev Carmody, who else have I seen that I really... Michaela Saunders, Kirralie Saunders, Bruce Pascoe, Evelyn Araluen, who wrote Drop Bear, which is a poetry collection that I really love, Kim Scott, Terry Janke, I never know how to say her last name. Anyway, quite a few people. Jasmin, Anita Heiss, Ellen Van Neven. Yeah, so heaps and heaps of people who I have loved their writing or who I am an admirer of in some way, and I'm excited to have this collection now, to be able to just sort of like get into it and really enjoy it. And the last of the brand new books that I picked up this month is Jilya by Tracy Westerman, How One Indigenous Woman from the Remote Pilbara Transformed Psychology. So this sounded so appealing to me because I am, if you've been around for a little while on this channel, you will have heard me talking before about decolonization, and one of the things that obviously requires decolonization is our thinking around psychology, because so much of psychology is based in Western psychology, and obviously that is very rooted in the colonial mindset. So this is that subheading alone was interesting to me, but then it turns out that this woman, Tracy Westerman, is somebody, an Aboriginal person who was the first Aboriginal person in Australia to complete a PhD in clinical psychology. And she's now a prominent psychologist. And then this is her memoir and she talks not only about her own story, but also some of the trauma that she has kind of come across as part of her practice as a psychologist, and particularly focusing on Aboriginal voices and trauma. So I'm so intrigued by this, and I'm very excited to have this. This was one that I picked up on a whim at my local bookshop because I was so interested. Such an interesting concept. Okay, so those are the new books. Let's move on now and have a look at the second-hand books that I've picked up. We're going to zip through these. We're going to go really quickly. The reason I have so many is because a second-hand store recently opened up near where I live. So it's like very close to where I live. So I've been there a couple of times already, and then that's on top of other places that I normally go and have a look. So I have quite a few second-hand books to show you today. So we're going to keep it snappy today. All right, we'll start with the non-fiction. The first one is What the Trees See, A Wander Through Millennia of Natural History in Australia by Dave Witty. Now, I saw this in an independent bookshop, and I was interested in it, not so much for me, but for my mum, because my mum is very, she loves reading about nature. She's a very nature-oriented person. So I've sort of picked this up for my mum. But she isn't someone who likes to hold on to books, so I thought if I buy it for me, then I can loan it to her and then she can give it back to me, and then at some point I will read it as well. But essentially this is, it says it's a stunning meditation on the remarkable insights that Australia's trees can offer into our past and our future. So this is looking at what trees tell us about the past. So for example, you might see trees that bear the scars of Aboriginal craft from long ago. You also have like just local histories that center around trees in an area. Also, you've got things like trees that are growing in botanic gardens and so on. Yeah, I'm excited to sort of like look into this and to learn a bit more about what trees can tell us. It's an interesting topic to me. So happy to have this one now in my collection, and my mum will be pleased as well. The second of the non-fiction books that I picked up was Just Ignore Him by Alan Davies. Alan Davies is a comedian whose work I have enjoyed for some time. You probably know him best as the constant panelist on QI. He's a very funny man, but from all accounts, he didn't have a funny upbringing. He had quite a traumatic upbringing and young life. So I don't think that this is going to be a hilarious memoir, more so a poignant one. And also, I think, you know, his humour will come through as well, but I think it's going to be more looking at what happened to him in his young days, because I think this is mostly about his childhood and, you know, teenagerhood. So yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. I do already have a copy of this on my Kindle, but I found this paper copy and decided to pick it up for $5. Why not? All right, now this one is probably technically non-fiction, but I think it could also be characterized more as short stories. So it's Me Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris. I have not read David Sedaris before, but my husband has a few of his books. Possibly he already has a copy of this one, I'm not sure, but it was only a couple of dollars, so I decided to pick it up. So I believe David Sedaris' work is quite humorous, and so I'm looking forward to sort of like a bit of dry humor, which is what I'm hoping will come through here. And yeah, I don't know much more about it. I probably don't really need to know much more about it. I'm just going to pick it up at some point because they are quite short chapters, and I think they are kind of more like a, you know, short story sort of situation as opposed to a something that kind of carries through the whole book. So I think I'll do that when I'm feeling in the mood for something along those lines. All right, moving now into a little bit of fluff. I picked up another romance book, and that is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I've seen this a few times when I've been secondhand shopping, but a lot of them are a tie-in to the Netflix series, maybe Netflix, which I'm not really interested in. I don't like tie-in covers with photos of real people on the front. Not a big fan. So when I found this copy, which is a sort of older edition, I decided to pick it up. I do already, again, own this on my Kindle, and so yeah, just happy to have now a paper copy as well. I won't go too much into the detail of the synopsis of this one because it's pretty widespread, well-known romance book, but I believe it is a romance between the son of the president of the USA and the royal British prince. So it sounds like a fun romp. Okay, then I picked up the last of the Richard Osman, the Thursday Murder Club books that I needed to complete my collection. Now I just need to read them because I haven't read a single one yet. And there will be another moment where we reflect upon this, on me collecting the books of an author that I've read 0 books of. Anyway, I'm excited to have this one. I believe this is the 3rd one in the series, and so I won't go into it. The Thursday Murder Club is, if you have been living under a rock and have never heard of it, it's set in a retirement home sort of situation, and we've got several retired characters, and they solve cold cases, but then I think some of the books deal with more sort of personal things, like with people they know who've died in mysterious circumstances and so on. So yes, I don't know which this is. I don't want to look into it because this is, as I said, the 3rd one in the series, not the 1st. So yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, excited now to have the full set. The next one is one I also have some mixed feelings about this book, and that is Sarah Pascoe, Weirdo. So I've heard mixed things about this. Some people really love it and think it's amazing, and other people I've heard say it's not that great. So anyway, Sarah Pascoe's comedy is probably what I know her for best. I haven't read her writing before, but I'm interested. I'm curious. I guess that's probably the reason that I picked it up. So on the back it says, I used to think my mum could see me through the cat. Deep in Essex and her own thoughts, Sophie had a feeling something was going to happen, and then it did. It's December and Chris has entered the pub and re-entered her life, just when Sophie had finally stopped thinking about him and regretting what she'd done. Sophie has a chance at recreating a new ending and paying off her emotional debts, if not her financial ones. All she has to do is act exactly like a normal, well-adjusted person and not say any of her inner monologue out loud. If she can suppress her light paranoia, pornographic visualizations, and pathological lying, maybe she'll even end up getting the guy she wants. Then she can dump her boyfriend Ian and try to behave like someone who knows how to enjoy Christmas. Oh, I didn't realise this was set at Christmas time, so this could be a good one to read in December. Maybe I will. We'll see how we do for time in December. But yeah, I think this was published this year. Let me just see if I can find the publishing information. Oh no, it was last year, 2023. So yeah, anyway, I now have this. I'm curious. We'll see if we get to it at Christmas time. And continuing in the sort of like fluffy fiction kind of side of things, or not so literary fiction, I guess, more to the point, contemporary fiction. The Angry Women's Choir by Meg Bignall. I've had my eye on this one for a little while, mainly because I believe it deals with feminine rage, and I do have some of that. So I was interested in how this book deals with it. So basically this is a book about a woman who sort of has a very, on paper, full, happy life, but she's sort of feeling sort of you know, like she doesn't really fit into her own life. She ends up being part of like a community choir, I believe, and then sort of exploring her emotions and her feminine rage through singing together with her choir friends. So yeah, I'll get to this one at some point. I'm not in a rush to get to it, but I now have it. It has been on my wish list for a while, so I can now take it off the wish list because I found a copy. Okay, moving more into, I guess this is a little bit of a classic. Probably this is a classic, yeah. Speaking of tie-in editions, I don't love the cover, but this is Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I've heard of Cranford. I know there's a TV series. I think Judi Dench is in it, which at some point I will probably watch because I love that sort of stuff. But I didn't realise, first of all, that Cranford was a smallish book. It's on the smallish side. And then also it's about like a small town predominantly inhabited by women. And that's really interesting to me. And it's period, I believe, or at least I'm not really sure exactly when it's set. But I feel like in the visuals I've seen of Judi Dench in the show, she looks like she's dressed a little bit old-fashioned at least. So anyway, I now have a copy of Cranford, and at some point I will get to this, so I'm excited to have found that and to discover that it's not an intimidating classic. Another contemporary book but that feels... sorry, this is now... this is me organising the chaos of these books. I've got a couple of historical fictions. So the first one is called Shell by Kristina Olsson. And this is a book, I don't know if you can see this on the cover. It's a bit hard to tell because it's deliberately blurred out. But that is the Sydney Opera House. And so this is a historical fiction that's set around the Sydney Opera House, which sounded really interesting to me. And it's set in 1965. So it's, I believe, to do with... yeah, so the guy that designed the Sydney Opera House, which is an iconic building, but I know that there were controversies around how his vision was implemented. He sort of won the thing, and then, you know, obviously trying to save money, things kind of went awry in terms of the actual building. So it isn't built entirely to his specifications, and therefore has had some issues in terms of like acoustics and things like that inside. Anyway, I'm interested to sort of get into this one. I recently heard about it and then found a copy. So it seemed serendipitous, so I decided to pick it up. So interested to see how that one pans out. The other one is a book in the Chocolat series by Joanne Harris called Peaches for Monsieur le Curé, and this I think is the only one in that series. I think there's 4 of them that I haven't read. So yeah, this is, if you've ever read the book Chocolat or seen the film, which is a beautiful film I really love. It's been around for a long time. I'm pretty sure it came out in the 90s or early 2000s. Anyway, it's I loved that series. I loved the movie. I loved reading the series as well. The characters are just great. So these are the same characters. So this again follows Vianne Rocher, who is the main character from Chocolat, and this is sort of a continuation of her story. And, you know, sort of a different kind of thing. I've read, this is, I think, maybe the 3rd one, and I read the 4th one not realising this one existed. So I've read them out of order, which is a bit weird. So it was a bit of a jump. Anyway, so I'm excited to now have this in my possession and to be able to read it. Now, here's the book I was referring to earlier when I said a book where I've bought many books by this author and still haven't read one, but I am very excited about this one. Miriam Toews, I believe, is a Canadian author who is very well respected. Women Talking is about, it's set in, so it's between 2005 and 2009, but it's a remote Mennonite colony, and this is a real thing that happened. it's an imagined response to a real thing that happened. But these the women, the girls and women, over 100 of them were raped in this colony, and by what many thought were ghosts or demons, and then they were sort of just like dismissed, and then they find out that the truth about what's happening, and then while the men are away, they're talking and deciding how they're going to proceed, and this is the imagined sort of response to it. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very intrigued by this story, and I really want to read it. I definitely need to get to Miriam Toews in 2025 because I'm amassing too many of her books. I need to hurry because I've got 4 minutes and I've still got several books to show you, so I'm going to do rapid fire here. Songs for the Dead and the Living by Sarah M. Saleh. This, I believe, is a book set in Palestine. Oh, sorry, it's set in Beirut, but she and her family are Palestinian refugees and they're living in Lebanon. So that's an interesting story that seems very topical right now, and also something that really interests me. The Modern by Anna Kate Blair is a book that's set at the Tate Modern. Is that no, not the Tate Modern, at MoMA. But it's an Australian book and it's an Australian protagonist, but she works at MoMA. And then sort of, yeah, so I don't know much about this, but I like art galleries. Let's give it a go. This one is Fauna by Donna Mazza. Again, I think this is an Australian book. It says, how far would you go to save your daughter? So it's a sort of set in the future. It says 17 years into a very recognizable future. Fauna is an astonishing psychological drama with an incredible twist. What if the child you're carrying is not entirely human? So this is a sort of speculative sort of book, and it's to do with like genetic engineering and experimenting with human life and what might happen. I'm excited to have this one, and I'm sure that others will be excited that I now have this one. I've never read Olga Tokarczuk. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I'm going to have to practice that one. But this is Flights, which is the winner of the Man Booker International Prize in 2018. She's everywhere right now, this woman, and writing amazing things that people are absolutely loving. So I'm excited to have this one. It says it's a mesmerizing novel in the form of a series of meditations on travel. Then we get into, just to finish off, a couple of books for younger readers. I've picked up Odda by Catherine Applegate. I heard Krista on Books and Jams talking about this one, and she really loved it. She said it was very adorable, so I'm excited to have this. I didn't realise when I picked it up that it's written in sort of free-form poetry, so that's an exciting thing. I really like that style in my middle grades, so yeah, excited to get to that one. I picked up a lovely edition of Grimm's Fairy Tales with illustrations by Arthur Rackham, and the cover itself is beautiful, but it also has some colour plates throughout as well, which is exciting. And the last one is Women in Art, 50 Fearless Creatives Who Inspired the World, written and illustrated by Rachel Ignotovsky. This one I picked up mainly because I love art. Look at these end papers, seriously. They're absolutely beautiful. I love art, so I love learning about artists, but I also just really loved the illustration style of the artist, the illustrator of this book. So that's it. Those are the books. That is my book haul. I've got 1 minute to go on my camera, so I'm going to finish up there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.